as if we had just finished the in-cab inspection. This is my city horn, boop, highway horn, boop. They're working. I'm gonna check to see, this is the first step you say, I'm gonna check to see if my tanks are full. You're talking about the primary and secondary air gauges, right? So I'm gonna check to see if my tanks are full, and they are, and I'm gonna begin with my air brake test. So I'm gonna turn the key one click to the left, which turns the truck off, and then I'm gonna turn it one click to the right. You're gonna hear the AC come back on, you're gonna see the gauges cycle, and you turn the wipers off there. You hear that, you know you did it right. You see the lights come on, you know you did it right. So turn these off. First step, I'm gonna release both parking brakes. Push those. Wait about 5 seconds. Keep an eye on the primary and secondary air gauge. The needles are gonna be moving. They're gonna come to a stop. Once they do, you move on to your next step. Which you say, I'm gonna hold my service brakes. I should lose no more than 4 PSI in 1 minute. Hold it. Watch the needles. They're gonna move and they're gonna come to a stop. And when they stop, you say, please time me. And then the people are gonna time you. Hey, look, I actually have one. And they're gonna go for a minute. It's gonna be real quiet. It's gonna feel like a long time. But you just hold that brake for a minute. Don't let off the brake. Don't let your foot slip. Keep it on there. And then we'll say that your minute's good. And the DPS, if you don't have this, DPS will tell you when to release. So, okay, your minute's good, release. And you would say, I did not lose more than 4 PSI in 1 minute. Then you say, my low air alarm and lights or low air warning system, I believe is what your paper says, should come on at around 60 PSI. Fan your brakes. They're working. Now they're working. Okay, you want to fan it to where it holds. Don't let it turn off on you like that. Fan it till it holds. They're working. My emergency brakes should pop out between 45 and 20 PSI. Fan your brakes and keep an eye on these. Don't take your eyes off them. Because if one pops out and the other one doesn't, and you move on, you'll fail. So you want to be watching both. They're working. Once I start my engine, and I believe the paper, let me read what your paper says, because I don't want to say it longer than it actually is. Because we used to have a different way of saying it, and I want to make sure that I say it correctly. Let's see here. I'm going to turn on my truck and rev my engine until my governor cuts off between 120 and 140 PSI. And then that's what you would say. Start the engine. Real simple statement. It used to be a lot harder. And you rev your engine to 1200 RPM. Oh, this truck is governed, so you can put your foot all the way to the floor and it'll work.
The other one that I did wasn't governed.
This one is. If not, then you would just hold the RPMs at 1200 as best you can. And you can turn your air on. The governor, I think, is quiet in this truck, so I'm actually roll the window down so I can hear it.
And it's 3 minutes, right?
It should be, if Mr. Torres says it differently than what the paper says, no more than 3.5.
3.5? Okay.
Yeah. He might have you say, once I start my truck, I'm going to rev my engine to 1200 RPMs. The governor should cut off between 120 and 140 PSI in no more than 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
Start your truck, and then he would tell him, please time me. If that's how he has it done. He might say it the old way. That's the way we used to say it. But they changed it to this to make it more simple for the students. However Mr. Torres has you do, that's the way you do it. The way he teaches you. secondary air gauge are going to keep rising. They're almost at the 120 mark. My governor.
Yeah.
It's kind of quiet. You say, okay, my tanks are full. I'm going to get out and remove my chocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would open your door, keep 3 points of contact. 2 hands or 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get down like an astronaut. I do 4. There's a handle right here, too. So you can hold on to that. Hold on to your steering wheel. I put my hand here. Then we're good. Close your door and then remove the chocks.
One question: you leave the truck on?
Yes, for this part, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then you say you get back inside. I'm going to continue to my tug test. Tug test, you tell them I'm going to release whichever order you do is fine, but you say I'm going to release my trailer brakes to test my truck brakes. Release means to push in.
Okay.
And so I'm going to push that in, put it into gear, and then slowly ease off the clutch. I'm going to bring the clutch back to where the brake pedal's at, and you're going to feel the truck grab. As soon as you feel the truck grab, push the clutch back in. Right there. I felt it. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
That's how you want it. It's working. Neutral, brakes, and then take off the clutch. I'm now going to release my truck brake to test my trailer brake. Yellow in, red out. Release means to make the brake start to unlock. Okay. Clutch in. I put it into first gear. First gear is to the left and down. Back on the clutch. I feel it. I felt it. Neutral, brakes, clutch. I'm now going to release both my parking brakes to test my service brakes. So for right now, I'm going to do it very, very easy just because we're so close to the cars. But normally, you would accelerate up to about 5 miles an hour. You know what? I'm going to back up. And I'll show you what a proper tug test looks like here.
This one doesn't have the alarm that when you back up,
No.
it goes tick, 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 tick.
Okay, right here we do. Alrighty, so let's say we're at this part now. I'm going to release both parking brakes to test my service brakes. So I'm going to put this one in 4th gear. Release both parking brakes.
Why in 4th gear?
4th gear, you get more acceleration.
Okay.
So this is as if I was taking off from a red light, 4th gear. If you're fully loaded right, you want to take off in 1st. But right here for the tug test, at least at this part, I'm going to take off in 4th. Hands on the wheel. I'm going to release the clutch and I'm going to accelerate to about 5 miles an hour, and then I'm going to clutch and brake. Here we go. Clutch, brake. They're working. Neutral, and I pull the truck brake because it pops both of them out at the same time. Neutral, release the clutch, and you would tell them, how much time do I have left? So like this is the very end of the pre-trip. How much time do I have left? And they'll tell you, you have 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you have. Take time to think about your steering tires, anything that can automatically fail you, steering tires, any of the brake systems, any of the rear tires. Think about your coupling systems, everything. Go over it here. Feel if you miss something, tell them, hey, you know what? I forgot to mention on my steering tires. They should be properly mounted and secure with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. There should be no uneven wear with no less than 432 in thread. They should be filled to the proper level. And I forgot to say that I can check it with an air gauge at the valve stem. And then if that's all you missed, then you can say, I have finished with my pre-trip inspection. And you're here. And that's how you do it. That's how you do the brake test. Now let's get him in the truck.